Alright, hello everyone, and welcome to another episode of Annie's Replay Casting. I'll be your caster, Annie, aka Android. This is going to be an exciting one today. We have got match 22158000484. Looks like it's going to be a lot of fun just based on the drafts, and without further ado, we can go ahead and introduce our teams here. On the Radiant side, we are going to have Tuma Mistress on the Lina, No Mercy on the OD, Moon on the Lifestealer. Following him up, it's going to be Earthshaker, is going to be played by Tao. And way up here in the top lane, we've got Daedalus playing the Windrunner. On the side of the Dire, we are going to have Sexually Aggressive Lobster playing the Arc Warden. Team worked on the Leshrac. In the mid here, we're going to have Scoop Jackson on the Razor. And down here in the off lane, it is going to be Akashi Sejuro on the Lich, followed up finally by Just Bring It on the Invoker. So, as far as matchups go, I'm surprised the Invoker is not mid, although Razor does fare extremely well against Outworld Devourer if he gets off an early leash here onto the OD. Doesn't matter if he's Astral Imprisoned up, he's still going to be stealing raw damage, and raw damage is always something you want when you're going up against one of them ODs. Down here in the bottom, we're going to have an Invoker supported by a Lich. That's a very aggressive combo. They could go for early blood here, but in this tri-lane, it's going to be pretty hard to approach. I'd like to see Lina and Earthshaker start roaming a little bit, because Lifestealer can usually take care of himself after the first couple of levels, but just, again, with so much aggression coming out from the Lich and the Invoker, maybe wanting either the Lina or the Earthshaker to stick around just a little bit. Earthshaker's already doing a good job here with the pull and the stack, so good on that. There's going to be some good support coming out here, so hopefully Lifestealer has a pretty easy time. Up top, Daedalus has already taken a little bit of damage. Leshrac has opted to skill the Diabolic Edict, so anticipating a little bit of tower push here. It looks like we're going to have more of a support Leshrac, as Arc Warden might be stepping into the carry role. He could go for more of that support and just build up the Necros and, you know, just kind of sit back and do his own thing, pop the safety bubble on his allies, but I'm hoping to see some rapiers here. Oh man, Lich does get fissured up, does get Light Strike arrayed up. Do they have the raw right-click damage? One or two more hits from the Earthshaker should do it, but Lich, he's got the boots, and Earthshaker does not. Waiting for the fissure there, has enough mana. Can he land it? Just the right angle would be enough. Looks like, yeah, the fissure will go through. Tao gets first blood. He did have to take a Sunstrike to the face and a Frost Blast as well, but well worth it to get the kill on that pesky Lich. Down here, it's going to be Invoker just kind of now sitting here one-on-one as his Lich is going to head back into lane. So the Invoker looks like he is opting to pick up the Sunstrike, which I think is pretty valuable. He's only level 1, so needs a little bit more time in the wave. He picks up his level 2 now, but just looking at overall levels, it's going to be going very heavily in favor of the Arc Warden right now. He's just had so much time to himself. The Leshrac has been doing a fantastic job of giving him space. So Arc Warden's been up in the wave pretty much the entire game and not feeling a whole lot of pressure here from the Windrunner, who has only scaled Windrun. Again, only level 1 on her for now. So just kind of going back, everyone doing their thing here in the mid lane. There's going to be a leash now onto No Mercy. No Mercy goes in with the Astral, but again, the leash stays through onto the Astral, so there's more and more damage coming out for the Razor. He can now hit really goddamn hard. And yeah, we see him just last hitting like it's absolutely nothing. Going to be taking some Arcane Orbs to the face, but it's not hurting the Razor a whole lot. Razor is inherently a little bit tanky, having 3 base armor, and he's going to be flying him out some goodies. Yeah, it's going to be a Wraith Band and a ring. So he's going to be feeling even more tanky, even more survivable up against the OD. Probably one of my favorite counter matchups. Meanwhile, Windrunner has hit her level 2. She's almost onto her level 3. There we go. Split Earth is going to be off the mark from the Leshrac for now. So it's just going to be Arc Warden going back to farming. Again, he's still level 4. Going to be almost level 5. Looks like he is going to go for the Midas strat. Super popular in Arc Warden just because you basically get 2 Midases every time it's off cooldown if you have your double up. And that's just more and more gold, more and more levels, so he scales really well into the late game. And, ooh, down bottom is going to be a nice fissure, connecting with the Life Strike Array as well. Lifestealer wants to go in. He does have the open wounds if he wants to use it, but there's going to be the Ghost Walk, and there is no vision on the side of the Radiant. That seems like they just weren't expecting the Invis to come out from the Invoker so early, and sentries are pretty expensive. So again, Earthshaker landing a really clutch fissure. Looks like they are picking out the Invoker. He's going to be stuck between a rock and a hard place now. Gobbles up a Fairy Fire, but I think he's still dead as Lina from the back line snipes it with the last hit. You might have wanted to feed that onto your Lifestealer, but either way, kill secured now, and Lina, she's feeling real good. OD has an Invis rune bottled up, and that's going to be perhaps a gank in a bottle if he wants to go in and hop onto top lane, hop onto bottom lane. Just because there's so many obnoxious heroes from the Radiant, they're now getting so much more out of the lane than Dire would want them to. With an Invoker Lich combo, you want to be able to push up, you want to be able to get kills pre-level 6, and it doesn't look like that's going to happen here as Invoker. He's sitting on level 3, meanwhile Lifestealer, who's been up in the wave, has level 4.25.
Top is missing.
So just looking at overall momentum of things, looks like Razor is going to get pinged out. There's going to be a rotation in from a smoked up Earthshaker and Lina. This is exactly what they need to do. They need to rotate. They need to make it happen. Is there going to be an Astral to start things off? Or there's going to go in from the backlands. Nice Fissure trapping Razor on this side of the trees. Goes in with the leash, but I don't think it's enough to save him now. There is going to be Leshrac TPing in. They are going to get the kill on the Earthshaker first, in fact, but the Razor still does end up losing his life. And now Leshrac, he's here. He's hunting for blood. Takes a Light Striker right to the face. Looks like OD going in, popping down the Astrals, or the Arcane Orbs, but Leshrac is just a little bit too tanky to deal with that, and so it's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. I think Radiant definitely comes out on top there, taking out the mid-Razor, sacrificing a support Earthshaker, but it's always clean trades that you're looking for. But meanwhile, with the support duos gone, Lifestealer takes so much damage, he's going to be forced back, probably having to gobble up the healing salve as well. Daedalus now enjoying a little bit of space as Leshrac has rotated out, going to be pushing up to the wave, but again, Arc Warden is just farming so fantastically, almost at his Midas, needs about 100 more gold for that, and leader of the last hit chart by far. Down bottom, another clutch Fissure going in. They are going to get the Cold Snap here onto Moon, who goes in, magic means himself up. There is going to be a sentry down, so Radiant, they've got this planned out. They want to go in, they see him, he's on the edge of the sentry vision. Can they get him? He is going to run back to safety, so sentry plopped down maybe a little bit too ambitiously, and it does end up costing them the kill. So Invoker, he's sitting here, he's got 1 Tango. Does he go back to base, or does he sit and get some much needed XP? He's only level 4, again, at this point in the game. Mid lane, we are going to have an initiation here onto No Mercy. Another leash comes through, he's pretty much fresh out of mana. Scoop Jackson going in and making this lane his own. He picks up his completed Ring of Aquila, he's got his boots, and he's got 500 gold in the bank.
Top is missing.
Looking at overall items, it looks like Midas coming out for Arc Warden right about now. That's a 7-minute Midas, and that's being pretty fantastic on top of Wraithband. He doesn't have any brown boots just yet, but he does now hit his levels 8 and pops out his double. So we've now got 2 Arc Wardens for the price of 1, and that means 2 Midases as well. So more and more gold. This guy's going to scale exponentially great. So it's just going to be going back to the laning stage a little bit. There is a rotation in now from the Lina going in, landing the Light Striker right here onto Scoop Jackson. He wants to get back. He's out of mana. There's going to be a Sanity's Eclipse dropped on him. One more right click from the Lina finishes him off. As I feel like No Mercy thought he totally had that with the Sanities, but Razor, again, just a little bit more tanky than you always assume. Now Moon down here getting a little bit low just from the right clicks from Liches. And looks like he'll be able to get out okay as there's no more mana for a Frost Blast. There's going to be a Rage onto the wrong one. So Moon, he got that illusion, man. There was no escape. Up top, we've got Arc Warden just buying himself up some more regen so he doesn't have to lead the lane. He's been doing a good job just sitting there. He's level 8, which I believe is the highest or close to the highest in the game. Yeah, he's matched up with the OD now, who's in the mid lane, so it's looking pretty good. Arc Warden's actually at the top of the net worth, and looks like he might end up getting another kill here. There is going to be a Fissure up from the Earthshaker, but not before Arc Warden gets the dunk. They are going to try to go after the real one here, ignoring the double. They have a Light Strike array, but not close enough to get it, so double goes down, and it costs 2 rotations. Meanwhile, down bottom, Radiant Lifestealer may end up going down. There's a Sunstrike, but he's going to dodge the wrong way through the trees. Fantastic job by Moon. A little bit of prediction going on there, but Lich doesn't want to let this one go unpunished. It's going to go in around the back of the trees with the right clicks. Do they have the damage? They do after they rotate in the Invoker. So that's looking pretty good for the Dire right now. The kill score a little bit in favor of the Radiant, but I think overall with that Arc Warden that's going to get out of control pretty soon, and the Invoker, who's only died once, now gets a return kill to his name. Dire have the tools they need to take this into a very powerful mid and late game. Lina, however, only has the Arcane Boots. Oh the god, there's a double damage here on the Leshrac. He needs to go in, he's just right-click. He's going in with the Diabolic Eat as well. Does get fissured up by the Earthshaker. It looks like Lina will end up going down to the pop of the Lich, but they do have to sacrifice the Leshrac. So it's about an even trade. I'd say it slightly favors, let's see. Well, slightly favors the Dire, but not by much. Scoop Jackson again going in, being a little bit aggressive here, but not enough to make it happen. But meanwhile, up top, Arc Warden gets a kill on the Wind Ranger once again, so that's his second kill of the game on the Windrunner. And she may have to start rotating here and just surrender the lane to the Arc Warden, because the more she dies, the more he's just going to get exponentially huge. You'd rather let him free farm and apply a little bit of pressure than continue to feed him kills. Looks like Arc Warden is going to go for the Necro Book, so that's going to be more and more push coming out for him. I'd like to see Radiant put up a formal rotation here. The last time they rotated up the Earthshaker and the Lina, they weren't able to get the kill onto the real Arc Warden, and well, he needs to have some time out of lane right now because he's just been free farming the entire time, and he's almost doubling up the net worth of the highest Radiant hero. In the mid lane, we've got OD. He's got his bottle and treads. He's got about 500 gold, so maybe going for the Atos, maybe going for something real funky. Now we're going to see, again, Scoop Jackson going in aggressively here, sitting on the Radiant high ground, but no Mercy for now. Doesn't have the resources to punish it. They're going to be rotating in the Windrunner, so maybe looking to make something happen, but she might just be going for some jungle farm that she very much needs. She's only level 6. She's got a good amount of gold on her, looking to buy maybe a Blink first item, but she should have some shoes, I feel. Just even brown boots are going to add a lot to her survivability, especially against someone who can absolutely chase her down, like a Leshrac, like a Razor, like a Lich, like an Arc Warden. Pretty much anyone on the Dire side is just going to try to run you down, and Windrunner, she's got 2 points in that value win run, but it's not enough if you don't have any brown boots to run on.
Dire's bottom tower is under attack.
She's going to go in. She doesn't have the ultimate. She's level 6, but hasn't opted to skill up the Focus Fire, so that's going to make Tower Siege a little more difficult. We have Lifestealer here in the creep. Going to be dropping out that Chain Frost, and looks like, do they have enough right-click damage? Oh, Invoker goes through, gets the kill onto the Earthshaker with a well-placed Sunstrike, and it looks like Lifestealer is able to get the kill onto the Lich that made his life so pesky. Meanwhile, OD was able to get a kill onto the Leshrac, and now is chasing down the Razor, but we'll let him off for now as No Mercy himself is pretty low health. And now here's the pressure from the Arc Warden. We've got the real guy here just slapping down the tier 1 tower. Necro Book should be finished up pretty soon. Looks like they are going to be flying out. Yep, that's Necro level 1. So again, even more push. This tower shouldn't be alive for long. And once Arc Warden just goes in with his double, he's going to be slashing up the towers with the push of the Necro Books, with the push of the creeps that have been pretty much uncontested. There are going to be 2 Radiant heroes, rather, rotated up here. They've got the Lina and the Earthshaker going in, slapping up a sexually aggressive Lobster, but I don't know where the follow-up is. There's going to be a Dragon Slave. It's off the mark, and for now, Earthshaker has no mana for anything else. So up top again, we just see Arc Warden kind of doing his own thing. It looks like he's saving up a lot of money. Could be going for something weird like a Blink. I really want to see some Rapiers on the board. I think with the freedom he's had, with the farm he's had, Daedalus, he could afford to go for the Rapier here, and it just adds so much more to his push. He's being very careful at this point in the game. I don't believe, he hasn't died yet, and he's showing no signs of being ganked until he gets more survivability, so he's probably just not going to die. Looks like there's going to be an Astral, but Razor does get off the leash before the Astral goes through, so it's going to be Scoop Jackson snapping up 47 damage, but he might get punished here. There's a Light Strike Array on the mark. There's going to be some Astral Orb, or Arcane Orbs as well, doing the damage. They need one more hit. Can they get anything out of this? Razor, he's bottling up, and Radiant have to go back, so Razor's survivability is just huge. Just the extra armor there is absolutely doing some work. Oh, meanwhile, here near the rune spot, there's going to be Moon just snacking on the Lich. The Rage is going to end, or the Open Wounds is going to end soon, but the Light Strike Array, they're hunting. Lina's not going to commit fully to this, and they have to let the Lich off with a warning.
Radiant's bottom tower is under attack.
So now it's going to be Leshrac just kind of stomping through. Meanwhile, up top, there is going to be a Fissure connecting onto one Arc Warden. The real guy, he's staying safe. He's going to be picking up a Necro recipe, so going in for the Necro 3s before he buys up anything big. I think that's pretty solid here. There is going to be the dead double on the floor. Tower's at about half health, so this guy has gotten all the space in the world. He's forcing rotations in for the Windrunner and the Earthshaker, but that's leaving more and more space for the Razor to do whatever he wants mid, for the Invoker to actually get his levels and get his farm. So Invoker is going to be going for the first item, Yule's Scepter. I like that in combination with the Chaos Meteor and the Sunstrike. I think he's just going to set himself up for a lot of success in mid-game fights. So Razor goes through. He does end up busting the the leash pretty early there and not getting anything out of it. There is going to be a Light Strike Array coming out as the Astral ends, but it's just a little too early. As Scoop Jackson not going to get stunned up from that, gets stunned up from the Fissure. They are going to get the kill on him, courtesy of the Sanity's Eclipse, and now it looks like Lich may fall as well. They need one more hit. They need the Arcane Ore, but Lich is just too speedy there with the Arcane Boots. And yeah, it's pretty difficult now for the Radiant to play catch-up. We're 14 minutes of the game. If we look at the overall net worth, or sorry, the overall XP, it's in favor of the Dire. I think that's just courtesy of the fact that Arc Warden has had pretty much free farm the entire game. And if we look at the overall gold, it is pretty heavily in favor of the Dire right now. There is going to be the Meteor unloading here onto the Lina. The right clicks just from the illusions will be able to get the kill. So that's a killing spree now from Just Bring It. He's got 3, 1, and 1, so the early death in lane might not be telling the full story.
Dire's middle tower is under attack.
Now Leshrac is here. He does have a lot of points there in the Diabolic. He just needs to get close to the tower. That thing is going to melt down. Radiant, they don't have their Fortify up to defend that, so they just have to lose their tier 1 for nothing, and that allows Arc Warden to start applying pressure here to the tier 2s, and that's going to come out pretty shortly as he picks himself up the Necro 2s. So overall, it's just going to be Dire enjoying their advantage right now. I think they are on a little bit of a timer. They need to get as much map advantage as possible before the OD is really capable of fighting, before the Lifestealer is really capable of going in and just doing so much raw damage in lane. They're going to have a nice Fissure here onto Scoop Jackson, going to get stunned up there. They do not have the Echo Slam to follow up, so it's just going to be Razor getting away there, taking a little bit of damage with him. So 120 damage actually on that Razor right now. He got off a full duration static link, so he could go in and actually do some serious damage to No Mercy.
It was never yours.
Here towards the rune, there is going to be Lina once again getting very, very low from the Invoker. He's going to be going in, invising himself up. The Light Strike Array is on the mark, and they are going to rotate in Moon, actually. They might be able to get this kill. They do. It cost them a Fissure, it cost them a Laguna Blade, but that is certainly worth for an Invoker that's been pesky all game. So space is being created for this Razor. They're bringing the Leshrac as well. He is going to go in with that Diabolic Edict, taking out the tower. Their creep wave is a little bit lacking right now, so they got to be a little bit careful. Maybe wait until the next creep wave to go in and really apply the push. But speaking of applying push, we've got Arc Warden now with Necro 3s going through, double Midas all the way. And he's going to be taking a power shot there from the Windrunner, but not even tickled as he goes in. He's going to be slowing her up and slapping her up. They just might want to focus on the tower here, but no, they're just going to go punish the Windrunner. How deep are the Necro units going to dive? Because you've got 2 sets of Necro units. And that's just so much push power coming out from the Arc Warden right now. How do you stop this guy? Looks like Arc Warden is saving up for something big. Please tell me that's a Rapier. I love the Rapier strat. It's obnoxious as hell to play against, but when it's working out on your team, all you have to do is keep the real guys safe, keep them farming in the safe jungle, keep them, you know, just kind of sitting safely in the fountain, and send the double in to just slap down the towers. They melt so fast with that raw right-click damage with the push power of the Necronomicons. It's gonna be pretty intense. Down bottom, we are gonna have Moon maybe going in a little bit deep onto Just Bring It, but again, there's the Yules coming into power as Just Bring It going to be backing off safely into lane. They're going to bring in the Leshrac as well. He has opted to go for kind of a quirky skill build. He's level 6, has not opted to get any points in the Pulse Nova, instead putting all his eggs into the Split Earth and Diabolic Edict basket. That's a little bit risky here. I think Leshrac needs at least 1 point in the Lightning Storm just as a value point to get the slows if someone's running away.
Radiant's top tower is under attack.
So for now, Scoop Jackson is going to go in onto the Lina. Lina might get a little bit aggressive here. I don't think they want to be able to take this. As Razor, he's fast. He has his drums. And yeah, they're just going to force some rotations out. As now, looks like the Lich might try to turn this. It's going to go and pop the solo Chain Frost. How many times does it bounce? They are going to get the kill there with the Razor Plasma Field. Now it looks like they're going to go in onto No Mercy as well. There's going to be rotations in from the Earthshaker, so they got to be a little bit careful. There is no mana now for the Echo Slam, as he did have to pop in that TP. So it's going to be Earthshaker just kind of backing off. He looked real scary, but without the spells, well, there's no follow-up. And now No Mercy might end up taking down some damage here. Razor is still rocking the 47 extra damage there from the leash. So Razor is now doing fantastic. Gets down a tower as well. He's 3-3-0. And game is going to be paused here briefly as Razor wants to trash talk. Now Arc Gordon, enjoying the space he's being given, does now have the Boots of Travel, so he's able to get anywhere he needs to. That's going to be for the double, so this is most likely going to be a Rapier strat. Arc Gordon picks up the Rapier, pops his double, Boots of Travels the double into the creep wave, and keeps the real guy safe. Down bottom there's going to be a Light Strike Array here, as well as Laguna onto the Invoker. Invoker is now DC'd, so maybe that's a little bit unfair on him, but you know, Radiant need a little bit of something to keep the morale up. Oh no, this Razor seems very aggressive for someone that's had such a successful lane. He's second on the net worth chart and just behind the Arc Warden, and no one's going to be able to keep up with this Arc Warden pretty much all game. It's going to be up to the Radiant to ignore him as best they can. If he's pushing in the racks, obviously you want to get in and defend, but for now the game plan has got to be rotate as 4 or 5 and just get pickoffs on the other Dire heroes. Speaking of pickoffs, down bottom, looks like Invoker will go in, Yules himself up, trying to get out of this. He realizes he was in a heap of trouble. Do they have vision now? Yeah, Lifestealer's going to hop in and out of a creep, and that's going to be the splash damage just to get the Invoker down. So that disconnect was a little bit costly, and well, it's just going to be clean gold in the Radiant's pockets. Looks like Razor is going to get pinged out here by the Lifestealer. I don't think they want to go in and follow this up, but Razor, he's feeling mighty aggressive. Does not pick up the Yasha, so looking to be a farming Razor. He could go for the SNY. He could go for the Manta. That's a little bit unorthodox, so I think SNY is really the pickup here. Looks like Lich is going in. He has the recipe for the Ether Lens, so that's going to be kind of a quirky way to start. I'd like to see him go for the Ring of Regen first and disassemble the boots before he picks up the recipe. Lifestealer's going for that farming build. He has his own Midas, which I don't disagree with. There's going to be a nice Fissure here connecting onto the Leshrac, but he's behind the rock wall, so he's feeling safe for now. But yeah, back to the Maelstrom. The Maelstrom means he wants to farm. He doesn't want to necessarily just go in and constantly kill. It doesn't mean he's going to be the Aura Lifestealer that just hops into a creep and walks around the map the entire time. It means he's going to be spending his time out of the creeps, farming up the lane, kind of playing his own game here, but looks like with the rotation of 4 Dire heroes, they might want to go punish him and push down this exterior tower. So Lifestealer's going to go in. Their leash is going to start off. He's going to hop into this creep right here and going to hop out pretty much full health. But that leaves Razor with 110 extra damage. He's going to be pretty survivable now. Popping out the plasma field. It won't connect, but on the backlines, we are going to have OD hopping into the Astral. That's going to be a defensive Astral Imprisonment. And okay, so all the Radiant are rotating in now. No Mercy. Going to be trying to run away, but Scoop Jackson hitting so hard. The Chain Frost is going to bounce. There's going to be an Echo Slam getting 3 heroes very, very low. Chain Frost is doing what it can to the Radiant heroes. Now Tau getting low. The one final bash from the Chain Frost will do its magic, and now down bottom there is going to be Laguna popping out, or Lina popping the Laguna. Scoop Jackson gets the kill on her, just courtesy of the 42 extra damage. So it is going to be a nil for 3. It looked really, really good for the Radiant when they landed that fantastic Echo Slam, but the follow-up wasn't there. At that point, the OD had already fragmented off from the fight. Meanwhile, we've got Arc Warden getting down a tower here, and that's going to be what looks like it could be a relic coming out pretty soon. Lich does not pick up the Ether Lens. He did disassemble the boots and not double buy up the mana booster, which is always nice. It's just a little bit of gold save for him. Going to be adding a little bit to his net worth. And now the Lich, I'd like to see him go Ags. We saw how much work that Chain Frost did in the last fight. He may want to go something luxury like a Force Staff first, or a Yules. That's completely okay. Even a Blink would actually work out for him, as he's pushing up pretty aggressively here with his Invoker, with the rest of his team. But I think an Aghanim Scepter is almost always a must-have for a Lich, as it just makes his ult so much more worth it. You go in, you get the Radiant clumped up, and then you just drop the snowball and watch it bounce. So for now, we are going to see the Sange come out from the Lifestealer, so it looks like that might be most likely going to be a SNY, maybe a Halberd. It could end up being a Silver Edge, but that's a very quirky item for a Lifestealer to have. I've seen it. It actually can work pretty well, but not from a Lifestealer that's feeling this far behind. He's third on the net worth chart, but he doesn't have a lot of kill power right now. He's only got 2 kills to his name. He hasn't really been bottle fed that much. Arc Warden does pick up the relics. We're going to see a Rapier come out from this guy, and he's going to feel pretty okay now pushing down. He's got the Necro units ready to go. He's got to resummon up in 90 seconds. So double can go in. He is actually going to cast the slow here on a Windrunner. She does end up dodging away with that 100% evasion, and so now it's going to be Arc Warden forced back a little bit. The real guy is still sitting here. Another 30 seconds on another double, so maybe we want to just sit back and wait this one out. Mid lane, we are going to see a Yule's up onto the OD. There's going to be a Sunstrike as well. He's going to Astral himself up to dodge a lot of that damage, and the Meatball goes through before the Astral finishes, so actually dodging out a lot of that damage. It's a little bit mistiming from Invoker. They want to get the kill here. There is going to be a Chain Frost from the Lich, but he's not going to get the opportunity to cast it as there's a really nice fissure in the mid lane. So OD led off with a bit of a spook. He is going to be picking up the Vitality Booster, so most likely going into the Atos, but he has got his options. He's not locked into anything. I think the Atos would be very useful, as there's a lot of speedy, slippery heroes in the Radiant. Go in, get the Invoker down when he's just sprinting away. Oh, it looks like Leshrac just bit off way more than he could chew. He is going to take an Echo Slam to the face. That's a big commitment there as Earthshaker. He's alive for now. May end up falling here, but no, the double goes down just in time. Tau feeling very, very low, but did have to drop his ult to get the supportless Shrek. I feel like that's very ambitious. You want to hold on to that for bigger ganks like what we might see now where the Lich is hanging around the trees. We are going to have Scoop Jackson dunking in here with the Plasma Field. We'll take a power shot to the face, but again, he's still feeling so fantastically fine. He does now have the SNY, so he's going to be farming up even more fantastically. Still 5 charges on the drums, so he's going to be A-okay. Meanwhile, the Radiant, they're forced to group up, and they'd rather not. Lena's going to pick herself up a Yule's pretty soon. That's going to help her out here, but oh, do they think this is real? How much are they going to commit for it? So Dire are doing a fantastic job just pushing up, playing with the Radiant a little bit, letting them have some fun with illusions and whatnot. Meanwhile, Arc Warden continues to farm up fantastically, has enough for the Rapier now pretty soon, and I was going to say a Yule's mid lane. There's going to be a Sunstrike combo and a Meatball as well, so Lina just absolutely explodes. Nice fissure connecting onto 3, but again, no Echo Slam to follow up, even though he did have the Blink Dagger to jump in. So for now, it's just going to be Radiant trying to get some farm here onto their Lifestealer, because he's really their big guy hope. He does now surpass the Razor on the net worth chart, and he's getting his space, but he needs to start fighting. He needs to be able to go in and get the kills, and meanwhile, Arc Warden's just going to apply pressure for the rest of the game. So the longer this game goes, the more and more map advantage Radiant are going to score. The only way, or Dire are going to score, the only way Radiant get back into it is group up and get team wipes. And they need to do that sooner rather than later. The Dire now going to rotate in. Looks like they might want to punish the Lifestealer here. He could hop into a creep if he needs to. And for now, it's just going to be Scoop Jackson again, wanting to take the front lines here. Wanting to connect onto Moon. There are no more towers. Moon's just going to TP out. So that's going to be, again, more and more bullying coming out from the Dire. Razor now has the Ogre Club. He might be going for a BKB. I think that's going to be a pretty smart thing for him to do. There's a good amount of magic damage on the side of the Radiant. Of course, the Lina. You gotta dodge those Light Strike Arrays and Lagunas as well, and just kind of ignore all the yucky damage coming out from pretty much everyone. Mid lane, Arc Warden goes in, might get the kill here on the Black Dragon, and that's only the double, so they really can't commit a whole lot to it. Earthshaker goes in, just enchant totems the double's corpse to really have a celebration going down. But meanwhile, there's pressure here on the bottom tower. Teamwork goes in, pops that full level Diabolic Edict. There's going to be a fortify, there's going to be a rotation in from some of the heroes. Lina, she does have her Laguna Blade ready to go. There is going to be a nice split earth connecting here onto No Mercy. He's going to go with the defensive Astral, but again, the leash stays through it. Scoop Jackson might be biting off more than he can chew here as he goes behind the tower. Will end up getting the kill on the OD, but make sure OD is hitting for pretty much nothing. There's going to be a fight of the Yules going through as Invoker once again gets a pick on the Lina. Lina's really, really fragile once her ult goes through. There's going to be Teamwork getting Sanity's Eclipse down as he went on the wrong side of the rock wall. And actually, there's going to be another solo Echo committed onto the Invoker. So it's going to be a pretty good trade there. They lose their Lina, but they actually get 3 in return. That's going to be fantastic now. But the Arc Warden double looking to maybe go in and punish this. He does have his Rapier, and that's not going to drop when the double dies. Going to be going in and using the Midas. The double will go down, but make sure to get at least something of it in the meantime. So the Radiant, they're playing cleanup duty right now. They don't have the opportunity to go in and farm aggressively on their own. They've got the Lifestealer in lane, but again, even he isn't feeling safe as there's a Lich just bullying him out. Lich should not be giving a Lifestealer this much trouble at 30 minutes in the game. For now, Lich is saving up. I'd again like to see him pick up that point booster in about 300 gold, but let's see what he's going to go snap up for himself as his next item. I don't believe there's any mechanism here on the Dire side. I think that's something they could benefit from just a little bit. We saw in those engages how Razor dove just a little bit too deep. A mechanism from the backlines probably would have bailed him out. Lich is a natural mech holder. Razor himself is a natural mech holder, but I think he's going for more of a survivable farming build. A mech aura would never hurt his team, but I think at this point they haven't started to build one up. It's just not going to happen. They might be able to build up a pipe here on the Lich if they wanted to as well. Lich is a pretty nice pipe holder along with mech, but for now, just going to be going every man for themselves, and it's working out for the Dire so far. They are ahead in kills. If we look at overall net worth, we look at overall XP, it is in favor of the Dire, but XP is starting to tip towards the Radiant's favor. I think that's just because Dire have been trying to push up a little bit aggressively, trying to get more map advantage than maybe they are able to secure. So they're pushed up in the lanes aggressively and not spending time in the jungle farming, aside from the Arc Warden, who's been doing a great job just getting some bang for his buck. Does now have the Hyperstone, so maybe going in for an AC, just making himself even more survivable, making his team a little bit more able to push high ground at an early time. Popping in with that magnetic field, the safety bubble as I like to call it. Gonna leave the Necro Creeps here in the lane. Gonna go in and just pest her out. Ooh, can they get the Courier here? That's a little bit ambitious. They're not quite that fast, and the Necro Creeps are scouted up by the Lifestealer as well as the OD. Looks like Lina might once again be in a world of trouble. She goes in, she does get the D-Ward as her final thing, but it does cost her life. So 50 gold for 280 gold in favor of the Razor is not exactly worth. Lina needs to be playing a little bit closer to her team because she's not super survivable on her own. She has a lot of kill potential, she's got a lot of damage potential, but she just doesn't survive against ganks like this. So again, it's going to be Leshrac. Looks like he might be building up a BKB of his own. That's quirky, but if it helps him survive, that's going to be A-okay. And now Sexually Aggressive Lobster going in with the rapier damage, just slapping down the tower. It goes down so fast. And now the double expires, but they got everything they needed. Meanwhile, there is going to be a push up by the Lifestealer, who has picked up the completed Mjolnir. So he's going to be feeling a little bit more survivable, but a second set of Necro Creeps might be giving him a little bit of a run for his money. There is going to be a TP in from the Lich. It's a longer TP, so they aren't able to get hold of the Lifestealer. Goes in with the Ice Armor, seeing if he's going to stick around, but for now I think the Lifestealer is sufficiently spooked. Goes out and just TPs in the lane. So Lina still looking to pick up the Yule. She's had her farming delayed a little bit by those 7 deaths so far. There's going to be pretty much a full smoke on the side of the Radiant. They've got 4 heroes in this, and they're looking. They're trying to figure out where they go. The Lifestealer is going to be hopping inside the Earthshaker. So Earthshaker, when he blinks up in close of the fight and pulls down the Echo Slam, they are going to have even more burst damage from Lifestealer's, what's it called? Consume. Now Scoop Jackson might be the target here. There is going to be a Blink Slam from the Earthshaker. Are they going to go for it? Tau, he wants to go in. There is going to be a Shackle. There's the Blink Slam, but Scoop Jackson is more survivable than they thought. Does take a lot of resources to kill him, but he's dead in the end. Successful smoke gank, but meanwhile there is going to be a counter smoke gank on the side of the Dire. What do they look for here? Do they want to go for the tier 2 or do they want to go for kills? Because right now there is no blood. At this point there's going to be only Dire Vision here towards the Ancient Pit. Earlier in the game they did have some fantastic vision of the Radiant Jungle, but it has expired and they need to replace that if they want to have even more vision advantage. So Invoker now, after he picks up the Yule's Blink, gets that mobility in order, is going to go for the Aghanim Scepter. I think that's absolutely never a bad item to have on an Invoker. He should be able to get it out at a reasonable time too. His farm is just a little bit delayed in terms of net worth. He's 4th on the chart, not feeling as impactful as the Arc Warden, obviously. Oh, Lich, he might have TP'd in just a little bit too deep, and looks like Lich, yeah, he is just going to fall. That's going to be a killing spree now coming out for Moon, so the Lifestealer, we talked about how he needs to go in for that kill potential. He's following up, but oh, Sexually Aggressive Lobster looking to punish, is going to go in. They can't break the TP in time. There's just not enough raw damage from the Arc Warden just yet. He is going to pick up a Moon Shard rather than the AC just to get that attack speed going, and could be gobbling that up. There is going to be a BKB recipe coming out on the Arc Warden as well, so that's going to help him be survivable even when he has to bring the real guy into the fight, making sure that Rapier does not drop unless absolutely necessary. Scoop Jackson goes in. Again with the leash, the Astrals are not going to keep the OD any safer as Razor now has 100 extra damage to work with. The Light Strike Array is going to be off the mark there from the Lina, and maybe looking to deny to Ancients here as No Mercy. No, he's just going to get completely destroyed by the Razor. Razor may have to pay with his life here as Moon rotates in, goes in, does have the Skull Basher now, so he's going to be picking off the Razor on the back lines, but meanwhile Lina falls again. Daedalus now getting very, very low from the Arc Warden as well, as Just Bring It has been doing exactly what he needs to with the combos, completes the Aghanim Scepter, and yeah, it's just going to be a 2-for-1 trade here. The Razor loses his life in favor of the OD and the Lina. That is going to be a positive change for the Dire, but of course, the less times the Razor goes down, the better. So maybe he needs to play just a little bit safer as the OD has learned to call for reinforcements when he starts getting ganked like that. So Basher, we talked about, picked up on the Lifestealer. He might want to go for the Abyssal right away. I think it just adds so much initiation to his fight. He can go and he can immediately get an Abyssal proc onto someone pesky like the Razor or the Invoker and just be assured that he's going to have to do that much damage to them. They're not going to be able to get away. They can't Ghost Walk themselves out of it. They can't Yules themselves out of it. They're just going to be bashed and they have to sit there and take it. Arc Warden goes in, tries to get a kill here onto the Lifestealer. Does he have enough damage? Oh god, it hurts so bad. He's going to rage himself up and trying to get out. He's going to try to just TP away, but there is barely not enough damage. So Lifestealer gets away with a sliver of health, feeling lucky on that one, but now he knows how much damage an Arc Warden double can do, and for sure the Rapier has been scouted out, so Arc Warden's got a big target on his back. For now he's kept himself really, really safe in the Dire jungle, hasn't stepped out too far, hasn't died this game yet. He's 4-0-0, he's got so much net worth here, 24,000 net worth at 35 minutes in the game, and it's looking good. As long as Arc Warden doesn't have any breaks put on him, he's going to be okay to start pushing tier 3s pretty soon. So now Earthshaker is going to be picking up what looks like an Octarine or a Bloodstone. I don't know about that pickup. I think Earthshaker should get an Aghanim Scepter to make his Echo Slam that much more impactful. If he wants to, he can get a Shadow Blade if he wants survivability. There is going to be the BKB now showed off from the Arc Warden. He's going in onto Daedalus. Daedalus has the win run. It's going to be max level win run, so going to be lasting for a little bit now in the double. Will end up falling to tower, goes in for the safety bubble, just try to chunk down the tower, but the timer expires. Meanwhile, down bottom, there is going to be the Yules combo onto the Lina. Lina does dodge out most of it. Deafening Blast comes through, though. There is going to be more stuff coming out. Light Strike Array connects here onto Just Bring It. The Laguna goes through. Invoker may end up dying here, but the Chain Frost from the Lich is going to be bouncing in the air. Looks like Invoker will get the kill onto the Lina, and Invoker gets away with his life for now. So Lifestealer has become more of a problem than the Dire anticipated. They didn't gank him early on. He's only got 2 deaths. They bring in Scoop Jackson now, but this job is a little bit bigger than just a Razor, I think. Razor wants to play up, wants to play forward, but really needs that support from his team, and right now it's not there. There is going to be the Abyssal picked up by the Lifestealer that's going to help him start these fights off and bringing up his net worth, getting closer and closer to the Arc Warden. Meanwhile, Earthshaker makes an item choice that I very much disagree with, goes in with a Bloodstone. I don't know why. I think he wants the survivability, but if you are having a really successful Core Shaker game, you can go for the Octarine in the late game after you get your Aghanim Scepter, after you get your big items, but a early Bloodstone right after Blink just doesn't add a whole lot of team fight. Like, what do you add to your team from being alive? If you already dunk the Echo Slam, why else do you need to be in the fight? There's going to be the Arc Warden double just going in super aggressively. Again, applying pressure to tower. Can he get the tower down? Looks like the creeps might be able to follow up. Yeah, the creeps are going to be able to do it. So Radiant were not able to go in for the deny. That's all the exterior tier 2 towers down on the side of the Radiant. There is going to be a smoke up now from the Radiant. They are not scouted up by the Dire. They want to go in for the pit. And, well, Dire Necro units, they've got all the vision in the world here with the sentries and the observers. But as long as the smoke holds, they won't be able to scout this out. So Dire might need to invest some resources to check in the pit. Looks like maybe Razor might just do that. Going in close, but no, he's going to be going up for the Ancient Pit. The Roshan is going to be melting very, very quickly. Can the Dire scout this out? They do have a Sunstrike, or they can invoke a Sunstrike if they want to go in. Looks like that's a Light Strike Array, not a Sunstrike. Very similar animations, but for now, Dire have no idea this is going on. The Rosh falls from underneath their nose, picked up by the Lifestealer. That's going to be a huge pick for him. He's going to be able to fight much more on the front lines now. So Razor, we saw him with that completed BKB, shiny and new 10 charges on that. He does now have 1,000 gold as well, so Razor could be going for something super luxury if he wanted to. He could pick up a Hex. I still think we are at 40 minutes. A Mechanism wouldn't do a whole lot, but you know, even just the aura from it would be great. Even just a pipe or something. Just some sort of thing to keep his team alive. He could go for an AC if he wants to be that super survivable Razor, which he might be going with the Black King Bar with the Power Treads. He's got a lot of options here. So for now, it's going to be Dire going in pretty aggressively taking on this Radiant jungle. Razor goes through with a double plasma field, picking off 2 camps for the price of 1, and he's feeling pretty good in terms of overall vision. Radiant are doing a great job keeping their bridges safe. They want to be able to scout out any potential rotations here from the Dire. And Dire, they've got a nice aggressive ward here. Earlier in the game, they did have fantastic control of the Radiant jungle, but they haven't been down to reward that in a little bit, and that might be costing them a little bit. Arc Warden's double is going to come up here into the top lane. Again, he's got another relic. We're going to see 2 rapiers here on the Warden. And now it's just going to be, oh wow. Warden just able to chunk down the Lifestealer even from inside the safety bubble. Using the BKB there, so that's going to be a charge down for the Arc Warden double, but it does just make all the space in the world now as there's going to be a push down bottom. Scoop Jackson setting things up. They're going to have to rotate back. The Windrunner, she's going to go in. Make sure these creeps are taken care of, and oh, it looks like maybe Invoker bit off more than he can chew. He's underneath the sentry ward. He will lose his life here. Needs to be a little bit more careful as the Radiant. Their vision game is super strong. So Lina is going to be picking up that Ring of Health. Looks like she might go into an Ether Lens. She could be going for a pipe if she wants to help her team out against the Invoker and some of the magic damage coming out from Lishrak, but I think the Ether Lens is a more typical pickup on the Lina. And, okay, we're going to have Lifestealer pushing in very aggressively. Again, he still does have the Aegis, so it's not going to be as detrimental. They're going to pop down a Sentry Ward here. Very nice placement. Again, they know that Invoker has had a habit of using that Ghost Walk aggressively in the past. Scoop Jackson takes a fissure, but there's going to be a long-range Tornado coming through, catches out the Earthshaker. There's going to be a Deafening Blast as well. Into the safety bubble to go. Now Tau will be the first one to fall down. Arc Warden just absolutely chunking down everyone. Razor picking off a double kill there. The double falls, but Dire are still in a good position to go ahead and push if they'd like to. Lifestealer is still alive with his Aegis, but they don't have a Lina and they don't have an Earthshaker, two of probably the best high ground defense heroes that the Radiant has. There's 2 minutes left on the Aegis. Can Lifestealer get anything out of it before it expires, or is he just going to have to watch it tick up? Lifestealer is sitting here in the chase pretty aggressively, maybe waiting for a rotation out from the Dire. He wants to hunt, he wants to get something out of it, but the Dire are feeling comfortable to maybe start pushing in to the tier 2s. Arc Warden, he's going to be waiting for that double. It does now go in. He's going to be rotating the double down to the bottom lane to apply some pressure there. Oh, fantastic play, leaving the Necro creep there, and just going to be chunking down the Rax on the back line. Meanwhile, Moon does get a kill onto the Razor, but at the cost of a Rax. They might lose the Invoker as well. Again, I still think this is worth it for the Dire. Arc Warden is doing the Arc Warden thing and just taking out a set of Rax. So overall, in terms of gold and XP, it's a positive change for the Radiant, but in terms of the map control that Radiant just lost there, that's absolutely a victory for the Arc Warden, and there's nothing that stops him from doing that again. You know, next time his ult is off cooldown, just go ahead, push out a lane and pop in, take the same top racks, take the mid racks. That's going to be a constant thing that the Radiant have to deal with, and they're either going to have to group up and take a racks of their own right now, or surrender to losing map advantage slowly over the course of the rest of the game.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
So it's going to be Lifestealer going in. He's doing a good amount of damage now. He's chunking down this tower. There's going to be a safety bubble now. Pop from the Arc Warden as he picks himself up a second Rapier. Again, this is the double, not the real guy going in. There's going to be a defensive Astral from the OD. Keeping himself up on the high ground, though. That might not be the play here, as No Mercy maybe a little bit too defensive with that Astral. If he just run away, he probably would have gotten away safely. But, well, he set himself up a nice kill here for the Dire. And meanwhile, Creep's able to take down this tower up here. So there's going to be a little bit of pressure in. Nothing the Arc Warden can't deal with, nothing the Invoker or the Razor can't deal with. Heck, even the Leshrac has some nice wave clear there with the Diabolic Edict and the Pulse Nova. So for now, Windrunner has picked up the Aghanim Scepter. She has picked up the Linken's. Linken's is a little bit unusual. I would have rather her gone something a little bit more offensive, maybe like a Desolator, just to be able to whack down the towers as quickly as possible, because that's going to be the name of the game. What needs to happen is Radiant need to get a pick on the Dire, a pick or two, go in and take towers faster than the Arc Warden, which is going to be a definite feat now, as we've got two Rapiers here on the Arc Warden. He's going in, he's just going to try to solo down this tower, does get stunned up, he's going down pretty fast, but it's just the double again. There's nothing that the Radiant gain from that. So where does the Dire go from here? They've got fantastic push coming out from a sexually aggressive Lobster. They've got great team fight coming out from the Invoker, from the Razor, but it feels like they're just not cohesive. They're not usually in the right place at the right time. Down here, we are going to see Scoop Jackson go in onto Moon, but again, Moon is so huge. You don't want to dive this guy again. The Abyssal comes through onto Scoop Jackson. He's going to be invisible for now, but the dust comes through on the backlands from the Lina, and that looks like Scoop Jackson is being given an opportunity to escape. He's taken his time to farm, so maybe that's just a little bit of a misplay now, as there is going to be a rotation up from the Dire. They do land a Latch, a Shackle now. There's going to be an Echo Slam as well, connecting onto a bunch. Tau wants to be huge here, and looks like he will. He's going to get tornadoed up from the Invoker. There's going to be a Laguna on the black. Backlands taking out the Lich, and Wicked Stick Streak from the Moon. And now it looks like Invoker will be falling as well. It's going to be 3 dead for nothing on the side of the Dire. They didn't need to lose anyone there. They just stayed their welcome, and underestimating Moon, I think, is going to be the fatal mistake for the Dire. They could have ended this a while ago. They could be pushing up as a group, getting secure pickoffs. Instead, they're feeding the Lifestealer, who's now getting close to the Arc Warden in terms of overall net worth.
Frostbitten, twice shy.
Lich is going to buy back here. That's an expensive buyback at this point in the game. Does not have the Ghost Scepter, building towards the Aghanim Scepter, I believe. But Radiant, they're feeling successful and able to push this tier 3 tower if they want to. Invoker, he's still out of the game. He does have buyback if he needs it. Leshrac, no buyback on him. But again, a support Leshrac isn't necessarily who you want to waste your buyback on. Scoop Jackson goes up aggressively for the Plasma Field, but now Moon feeling so big here, just chunking down this tower. And that's through backdoor protection. And there is going to be creeps coming up very shortly. There's going to be a Chain Frost bouncing, and defensive Astral from the OD is going to make sure it only bounces once. Moon is going to get his damage sucked. Torna Mistress comes through with the Eul Scepter. This is going to be the Radiant backing off for now, and the Radiant playing this one so smart as they're able to go through. Okay, so Torna Mistress just TP's a little bit too close to home. Yeah, but for now, Radiant, they learned their lesson. They're not going to overstay their welcome like the Dire have. We saw here in this fight on the top lane where Invoker started to farm. That was absolutely a dire mistake. So Leshrac has a completed BKB. He's been using it for a while now. I think his survivability is okay, even without the BKB. He has the Bracer, and yeah, he wants to be sitting on the back lines doing as much damage as possible there with the Pulse Nova, with the Diabolic Edict, but oh man. This is what Arc Wardens do. They just get in here. A full set of racks is now taken in favor of the Dire without really any push from the rest of the team. It's just Arc Warden versus the world here. There is going to be a rotation in by the Leshrac, who, again, didn't need to be that far up. A nice tornado catching out 3. Meatball comes through as well. There's going to be a deafening blast, saving the life of the Leshrac for now. So Invoker comes in to bail out his buddy. Will he lose his life in return? Just bring it. Is going to be slapped down after he takes an Abyssal right to the face. So it's godlike streak for the lifesteal. You really got to start controlling what you give to him. He now picks up the Silver Edge. He's got the S&Y, so his maim for days is going to be going off. And I think Invoker has been a little bit careless as to how much he's feeding the Lifestealer. I don't think they've realized that he's going to be as much of a problem as he is, because now he's godlike. He's 10, 2, and 8, so we had trouble in the early game getting up to the lane, getting the farm over here under the tier 1 tower, but now he's going in aggressively farming Ancients and not getting punished for it at all. So Windrunner now, she is going to be saving up for about 3k gold. I'm not quite sure what she buys here. She might want to go live up to her name and go for the Daedalus, but it's going to be picky here. Now we are going to see, okay, again, Dire just giving no respect to the Radiant. The Abyssal comes through. Scoop Jackson will end up losing his life again. Beyond godlike streak for the Lifestealer. Dire need to realize that this is a big problem. Stop rotating around alone. Go as a group. The Arc Warden's going to be doing what he needs to do to push, and you need to team fight as 4. I think that's what needs to happen right now. There's going to be a fortified popped out. Sexually Aggressive Lobster may not end up getting this tower. There is going to be a rotation back in from the Lifestealer, as well as 3 other heroes. So it's just going to be the double picked off before the tower goes down. Again, the Dire, the rest of them at least, left to play cleanup duty.
Invisibility.
So for now, the Radiant, they're realizing they've hit a power spike here with their Lifestealer. They need to do what they can before the Arc Warden gets the rest of their racks. Because once there's Mega Creeps, I think this is going to be a difficult game. We see even now with the 1.5 laner racks down, we are going to see Earthshaker has to TP back to deal with the creeps whacking on the tier 4s. The rest of the Radiant are able to go in and fight right now. With the Lifestealer, they're pretty much immortal. In terms of overall XP and net worth is still in favor of the Dire, just courtesy of the tower advantage, but the XP is super in favor of the Radiant. The kills coming out are fantastic. Kill score is in favor of the Radiant. They've spent more time split up and farming. The Lifestealer is absolutely a monster. Going to be going in, taking down the Lich before there's any real trouble, and now this is just going to be a massacre now as Beyond Godlike streak continues for Moon. He's going to go in, he's going to get down the Invoker as well. So it's Lifestealer versus Arc Warden. That's what feels like this game has come to, and I think Lifestealer has the tools just to go in and raw right-click down the rest of the Radiant, because Arc Warden, he's going to be huge, but if for some reason he gets killed off holding 2 Rapiers, this is going to be a very difficult game. In fact, an unwinnable game for the Dire. Looks like the double will be picked off immediately. They do actually get the kill onto the Lifestealer. That's huge here. Arc Warden doing enough damage here. That's so much gold in his pockets. It's 1,000 gold. Scoop Jackson now goes in. BK beat up. He's going to get the kill onto Tau, most likely now. There's going to be a Glimmer Cape on that guy. Daedalus now the target of the damage. Going to be going in, taking a Eul's here from the Lina. They want to get this guy down as well. Oh my god, the Arc Warden just chunking her down. Razor actually gets the kill on that with the Eye of the Storm proc, and now Daedalus falls as well to the Arc Warden. So Arc Warden has overtaken the lead as he picks off the Lifestealer that was causing so much trouble for the Dire. So he's going to be picking up maybe another Rapier. We'll see. That's very, very greedy, although Sexually Aggressive Lobster has not died yet this game. He's going to be 6-0-4. He's done a great job split pushing here, and well, he might want to pop up that double head into the top lane and secure himself his final lane of racks. For now, there's going to be a mass TP down by the Dire here, looking to go in onto the Roshan. Who do you give the Aegis to? You want to give it to someone that's going to be on the front lines of the fight, like the Razor or Invoker, but also you do not want Arc Warden losing those 3 Rapiers at any cost. So I don't think Arc Warden is really the danger here. He's kind of been staying to his own, playing his own game here in base, so it looks like the Aegis may end up going the way of the Razor, who has opted to drop his TP scroll for it, and that's going to be pretty helpful. Scoop Jackson likes to be on the front lines. He likes to play up, play aggressively, and well, at least now he's got a little bit of a safety net if things go wrong, like they have in the past. Lifestealer's going to be up in 10 seconds, so again, he did lose a huge sum of gold there. But there is okay. So Arc Warden just going in with the 3 Rapiers. Look at these racks just absolutely get destroyed. Looks like he is going to be in that BK Blue form. He does get all the racks. That's going to be Mega Creeps now. That is absolutely game winning now, as the only ones that are really able to deal with Mega Creep push are the Arc Warden and the Lifestealer. I mean, maybe a Fissure helps you out a little bit, but the creeps are really going to be doing the work now, as I think this is going to be GG. I don't think Radiant defend against this, and Arc Warden is absolutely the savior of the Dire. He just did all the work here from minute 1, and Invoker and Razor and Leshrac and Lich, they had really fantastic team fight, but it seems like they didn't exactly know when was a smart fight and when wasn't, and you know, the Arc Warden strategy is it's always time to push. And he goes in, he gets 3 rapiers, Boots of Travels level 2, he gets the Necro books right away. That is his strategy. We see the Radiant, they're desperately grasping at straws. They know comeback against Mega Creeps only happens when you push immediately after the racks go down. You go in, you group up, you finish off this racks, you finish off the tier 4s, and you go for the throne. That's the only way Radiant have a shot at this. If they aren't able to do that, I think it's just clean GG. The Dire, they're waiting for this. They're smoked up. They've got Scoop Jackson on the front lines. He's got his BKB ready to go. He's got the Assault Cuirass. There's going to be a Tornado. There's going to be a Meteor coming through as well. No Mercy is going to get BKB'd up. They're focusing down the Lina first. Scoop Jackson wants to go through. He does have the Eye of the Storm going. No Mercy may end up falling here. He's just going to sit in the trees. He is going to go try to get what he can, but he's going to go for the defensive Astral. Meanwhile, Leshrac takes down the Earthshaker. This is going to be a very clean fight here for the Dire so far. They get 2 for nil. They are going to be chasing down Daedalus as well. Moon on the back lines. His Silver Edge is going to run out pretty soon. And what does he do here? Maybe he can get a couple picks, but does he defend against the rest of the creep by pushing in the Arc Warden? He's getting ready to do some fancy stuff. As okay, Tornado goes through, does catch out Daedalus as well. The Wind Run's going to expire while she's up in the air, and Scoop Jackson is going to get maimed on here by the Lifestealer. So Moon may end up getting something out of this. Again, that's only going to be Aegis as the Razor will come back to life. There's going to be a Yule's up, so I think for now, Radiant might be able to get something out of this. They do get the kill on the Leshrac. They get the Aegis popped onto the Razor. And for now, there is going to be a TP back out from the Lich. He is going to be in his Ghost form, but the Light Striker Ray does not connect in time. So Lich gets out safely. Razor gets out safely. And Arc Warden's TPing in. They want to prevent this. They want to go in, but this is going to be most likely GG. Although the Abyssal comes through onto the Arc Warden, he will end up falling. Again, that's only the double, so nothing huge going down there, but the tier 4s are seriously under siege. The Mega Creeps are moving into the base, and now Radiant have to focus all their efforts on getting down the creeps. Meanwhile, Dire feel not a single bit of pressure in the world. They are just going through. They are farming up and focus taking Ancients. We got Razor farming jungle. In terms of overall XP, it has just declined dramatically after that last fight. And yeah, gold is back in favor of the Dire as well. So again, for now, Radiant, all their efforts have to be focused on pushing out the base, because they know as soon as they leave it unattended, all Arc Warden has to do, hit R, hit whatever button this is, if it's C or whatnot, and just fly into the base, whack down the tier 4s in 3 hits, and then take out the Ancient. And that's exactly what he's planning to do. He's just waiting on a time when he knows the base is unguarded. We are going to see a ping here onto Moon, who gets very, very low. Tornado comes through. It's not going to be in the right direction as he jukes up onto the high ground. And for now, there is going to be a Yule's here onto Invoker. There's going to be an Earthshaker coming down as well. He's going to be TPing back to base rather than going in with the Echo Slam. That's how scared the Radiant are right now. So we've got Razor doing his Razor thing here, pushing up the front lines of the fight, making space, maybe trying to waste some abilities being blown out. Moon has to once again scramble down to base. The rest of the tier 4s have fallen. The Megas are moving in from all sides. Radiant, it's now or never. If they can hold this, if they can get a perfect team wipe off onto the Dire, maybe they win, but I mean, the Ancient is going to be ticking down slowly but surely. Again, everyone on the Radiant has to focus on the creeps. There's no one that can be pushing up aggressively except for maybe the Lifestealer. And for now, Dire, they're not going to give him anything. They want to go in. Do they have vision of him right here? He's going to be going in, trying to find up Scoop Jackson. Might be able to get the kill here if he wanted to, as Scoop Jackson has kind of split up. There is going to be Tau jumping in as well. They want the kill onto this, but there's BKBs all around the board here as Chain Frost comes through. And looks like there's just going to be an Ancient going down. Although, Arc Warden, no. He does get picked off here, but there's going to be a killing spree now. Lich is still alive. They lose the Leshrac, but that's a worthy price to pay for getting the Lifestealer out of the fight with no buyback for 90 seconds. That's game now as Razor's whacking on the Ancient. You want to be able to get Arc Warden in here to celebrate the party as he worked so hard to get this. Scoop Jackson actually gets slapped up, will end up falling. Not getting the Ancient down just yet. The creeps are going to get occupied for now, but another wave moves in onto the backlines, focusing the Effigy first. Got to make sure that Earthshaker Effigy goes down, and I mean, the Ancient's half health. There's really little hope for survival here as the Radiant Creeps doing what they can to fend off the Mega Creeps. The Mega Creeps are always going to be bigger, always going to be stronger, giving less XP, less gold. This is just a slow, steady slope of decline as Earthshaker decides he doesn't want to live anymore. Bloodstone's in, and now a sexually aggressive Lobster in true Arc Warden fashion TP's in to finish off the throne. What a game here played out from the Dire. In the end, it became Arc Warden versus Radiant, and Radiant, they put all their eggs into the Lifestealer basket, and he was huge. He was able to take the team fights, but with the base down, with the melee racks and the range racks already down in the bot and mid, it was just too much of a lead, or deficit to come back from for the Radiant. So fantastic playing here. MVP obviously goes to the Arc Warden, who did not die the entire game, bought 3 Rapiers, and got the racks at an early time, continued to follow up with the pressure, always keeping Radiant on their toes. And yeah, that's going to be it for me. I've been your caster, Annie, aka Android. I hope you enjoyed the cast. If you have any feedback on how I can improve, get better as a caster, I'm always looking to do that. Feel free to tweet me. Feel free to post a comment on the video. If you'd like your own replay casted, you can email me at anniecasts@gmail.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a fantastic day.